a moment with nature. A brief time with a mind fascinated by the natural world. I'm out and about this week, not terribly far, but I've come up onto the top of a hill, onto some common land, and it's a very different environment. Of course you can hear the wind in the background, but it's not very far from my normal walk. I know it pretty well, and yet there are so many differences. There's different birds, there's different things growing, and let's go and see what we can find. And just by the way, at the end of this, there's a little burst of something I recorded. Well, I'll tell you where it is I recorded when I get there. Well, I've found a bit of fox droppings, a bit of fox scat. You can tell it's fox because it's got lots of hair. It's relatively small compared to some of the very large deposits that some big dogs make. But it's also got a twist of hair. One end of it has got a little twist of hair which is very characteristic of a fox. And it's not surprising foxes are up here because there are masses of rabbits on the common. Now I've just come up against a gorse bush, evergreen, spiky, and really rather lovely, a very good source of pollen and nectar for insects. And there's a phrase I was taught about gorse many, many years ago. I cannot remember who taught it to me. It said, when gorse is flowering, kissing is in season. And that apparently, I don't know for certain, apparently is an old country saying. And it is, of course, quite a clever saying because gorse is one of the very few plants that actually flowers all year round. There's plenty of flowers on this particular gorse bush. The one next to it has actually got seed pods where the flowers have gone over, and the one next to it, well, there's no flowers at all. But gorse, along with daisies, are some of the very few plants that flower all year round. There's a bee here, looks like a honeybee, foraging on the gorse. 31st of January, a bee out foraging? Well, it's perhaps not as surprising as you might think because they do come out when the weather is warm. And of course, like all creatures, they need to survive. And so if there's an opportunity for them to come out and get some food while it's around, then they will do. But see if you can hear it, and let's see if we can actually record it. Well, bee mixed with dog whining, complaining why I'm stopped for the moment. But it's lovely looking at the bee because it has to just sort of push its head into the gorse flower, which looks very like a pea flower. Push its head in order to reach the nectar right at the bottom. And of course, in the process, the reward it gets is the nectar. But the flower, of course, has a pollen deposited on the bee, which it then takes to the next plant, and so pollinates the gorse plants in the area. Now, I've just had a really good lesson in why it pays to pay attention. The person I'm walking with, while I was prattling on about gorse there, was really undecided what to do because apparently a sparrowhawk flew out and flew behind my back and down a little lane. So I saw gorse but missed the sparrowhawk. Standing by a briar rose now. Again, that warmth of the sun still on my back. It's lovely up here. But the last few rose hips are, some of them are red, but they're all shriveled, and the majority of them are black and hard and dried. But already there are buds showing on the rose as the new season growth starts to appear. So the cycle goes round again. They're lovely, pretty little red buds, and soon they're going to be, well, the roses pretty tough. They come out in leaf very early and produce lovely hips, plenty of food for the birds over the winter, and maybe there'll be a few birds that are still in need of these last dry, shriveled hips before the cycle begins again. And that's my dog saying, why on earth are you standing there and being boring? We've come up here for a walk, so I will move on. Come on then. I'm in the middle of Cardiff. You can hear the bells of Llandaff Cathedral in the background. And that's a sound I have to go and identify. I can't see the bird. Yes, I can. Looks like a tit of some sort. It could just be a blue tit, but it's making a really quite impressive sound. Well, I've just had a go at trying to identify that bird call. I think it was probably a great tit, though I have to be honest, I've never heard a great tit call like that, but it looked like a great tit. But I did something that I was quite intrigued by. I put it through an app called BirdNet, which apparently uses AI technology to identify a bird. I did it twice. The first time it came up saying probably a great tit, could be a reed bunting. The second time I did it, it came up saying almost certainly a great tit, so I'm assuming it probably is a great tit. And just to test it, I did my own impersonation of a great tit into it, and it came back saying almost certainly a human. The music was Nature Watch by Oleski, downloaded from Pixabay. The graphics were done by Dillis, and everything else was done by me, Toby Murcott.